Front-of-the-house food and beverage employees have traditionally been held to different standards than kitchen staff. However, the North Carolina Food Code does not make that same distinction. As a matter of fact, the code considers anyone who may come into contact with food, clean utensils and equipment, linens, and single service a food employee. Often, front-of-the-house staff are not only in contact with food, they are in direct contact with ready-to-eat foods and the last place in the flow of food before the consumer eats the food. This front-of-the-house training is designed to be brief, to supplement other trainings of the employer, and to address the 5 most common violations of the North Carolina Food Code observed during the inspection of front-of-the-house activities. To properly wash your hands, always use a hand sink intended for hand washing by food employees. Rinse hands under clean, warm, and running water. Apply an amount of cleaning compound. Rub hands together vigorously for 10 to 15 seconds. Immediately follow with a thorough drying. Turn off the water with the towel and never use your clean hands. The North Carolina Food Code requires employees wash their hands for many situations. Certainly before donning gloves for working with food and changing gloves when changing tasks. Always before working, such as bar prep, bread prep, and setting tables. Always after touching your phone, your hair, your face. After using the toilet facilities. Once in the toilet room and when you return to task. Always after coughing or sneezing, using a handkerchief or tissue, using tobacco, eating, and drinking. Always after bussing, cleaning tables and menus, and washing barware. Food employees must perform the washing steps in a designated hand washing sink or an approved automatic hand washing facility. Or hand sinks in bad locations, hand sinks being used for something else, jewelry or manicured nails may also be an obstacle to hand washing. Bare hand contact can transfer dangerous pathogens from hands to food, spreading foodborne illness. Bare hand contact is especially problematic with ready-to-eat foods. This is why the North Carolina Food Code prohibits bare hand contact with ready-to-eat foods. Where are some places front-of-the-house employees need to make bare hand contact decisions? A barback preparing bar garnish, a waitstaff cutting bread, a waitstaff person touching diners' food or putting things in a takeout box. Because front-of-the-house staff do come into contact with food, clean utensils, equipment, linens, and single service, it is very important to enforce a uniform policy on personal hygiene. The code says effective hair restraint must be worn. This means all body hair that may come into contact with food. The code prohibits food employees from wearing wrist jewelry. Finger jewelry is limited to 1 plain band, 1 ring that is plain. Great care goes to ensure that all tableware and glassware are cleaned and sanitized in between uses. If clean utensils are stored in the front-of-the-house areas, they must be transported in a sanitary manner. They must be carried in dish racks or placed on carts. Avoid stacking glasses and plates against the body or carrying stacks by hand. Use trays or baskets to transport tableware to the wait station. Only roll or wrap tableware on a surface that is suitable for clean utensils and that has been properly cleaned and sanitized. Protect clean utensils from soiled utensils and other sources of contamination. Arrange glassware in the bar area where it is protected from splash and dust and away from customer seating. How are front-of-the-house items getting washed and sanitized? There is an approved method for washing in a 3-compartment bar sink. Dump beverage remnants in an approved sink for dumping. Then set up the sink to wash. Wash in water that is no less than 110 degrees. Rinse adequately. Check the sanitizer's strength and temperature. Sanitize with the approved sanitizer by immersion. If you have a dish machine, verify that the mechanical dish machine operates at the proper temperature or sanitizer. Air dry. Never towel dry. Polishing can only happen after the glass is dry. Use a clean wiping cloth that has never been used for another purpose. It is important to avoid other actions that contribute to the contamination of clean utensils. An unused preset tableware can be reused if the exposed tableware has been removed at the seating of patrons, or that the tableware is rolled where no part of the mouth contact surface has been exposed. Tableware that is not removed must be bussed with the table. There are many ways to roll silverware that is acceptable. Clean the exterior of all condiments daily. Do not refill condiments without cleaning and sanitizing the entire container. Never refill single-use containers. There are also concerns about miscellaneous sources of contamination. Cell phones potentially are the worst source of hand-related contamination that a front-of-the-house staff person will contact without washing his or her hands. A bar towel must always be cleaned to sight and touch. A bar towel may not be stored in the apron strings or in the back pocket of a front-of-the-house staff person. A bar towel may not be rinsed in the hand sink. Never use the glass as a scoop. Use care to never touch the rim of a diner's glass when refilling the glass. The touchscreen of a POS monitor is not clean. Money is not clean. Debit and credit cards are potential sources of unknown contamination. Food employees may have beverages in the front of the house, such that the beverage is always covered and stored away from food preparation and food storage. This front-of-the-house food safety program has been brought to your establishment by the Innovation Grant of the Orange County Health Department. Thanks to the Environmental Health Specialist of Orange County, who designed, developed, programmed, trained, and cared to implement front-of-the-house food safety training for your establishments.